There are 4 games left to go until the Champions League final, and the pressure is at an all-time high for the 4 remaining teams. With Arsenal facing off against PSG and Barcelona going head-to-head versus Inter Milan, the stage is set for some incredible Champions League football. There is so much at stake for these 4 clubs, but just how important will a victory be for the legacy of these historic sides? Today, we're taking a look at the final 4 teams in the Champions League to see how much it would mean for each side to win the ultimate trophy in club football. There is nothing quite like winning the Champions League, but which side needs a victory the most? With their one and only Champions League final appearance coming back in 2006, a victory for Arsenal will be monumental for both the players and the fans. Since their invincible season back in 2004, Arsenal have won 5 FA Cups and 6 Community Shields, but have regularly disappointed in European competitions. Their best chance at winning the Champions League came back in 2006, but they eventually lost to Barcelona after a thrilling 2-1 match. Now in the present day, things are very different for the club, but the importance of European success is still present. From a managerial perspective, a Champions League victory would establish Mikel Arteta as one of the best coaches in football. And after 6 years in charge of the club, his efforts would finally pay off by winning the most important trophy in club football. For the players, it would be huge for the careers of Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, and Declan Rice, who are either entering the prime of their careers or are currently in it. And for the fans, they would finally have something to cheer for other than their undefeated season from over 20 years ago. All things considered, a Champions League victory would be huge for Arsenal, but the French giants from Ligue 1 currently stand in their way. With their last Champions League final appearance coming 5 years ago this season, European football has not been kind to PSG. And if there's a team out there who not only wants a win but absolutely needs a win in this tournament, it's the Parisian side. The French side are owned by Qatar Sports Investment Group, and they have poured hundreds of millions if not billions of dollars into this team in hopes of securing their first Champions League win. Now with all of their superstars gone, but a team that actually knows how to play as a cohesive unit, they have a real chance of doing just that. For manager Luis Enrique, the chance to win his second Champions League trophy after a 10-year hiatus would put him in a truly elite group of managers who have achieved a similar feat. It would also mean the world for Ousmane Dembele, who's been having a stellar season, and it would finally allow him to forget the nightmares from his playing days at Barcelona. For Marquinhos, who has spent 12 years with the club and has basically won everything with them, a Champions League title would be the icing on the cake for a truly historic club career. And for newcomers like Desiree Doué and Vitesse Kvaratskhelia, a Champions League title in their first season in Paris would surely convince them to stay for more years to come. While a Champions League title might mean the most for the owners of this club, it would still be monumental to see a French team win the competition for the first time in over 30 years. On the other side of the bracket is Barcelona, and a Champions League victory for this club would be the ultimate prize after years of hardship. Whether it's Messi leaving the club in 2021, or the financial hardships they've faced, or the fact that this was their lineup just a few years ago, a victory would be like a giant band-aid that would fix all of their problems. Alongside the emotional value that would come from winning the tournament, it would also be hugely impactful for this team. Not only would Hansi Flick cement his legacy as the best coach in the world, but Rafinha would surely have the strongest case for winning the next Ballon d'Or. On the other hand, Robert Lewandowski would finally get his hands on his second Champions League trophy, proving to the world that leaving Bayern Munich was the right decision. And for the youngsters like Lamine Yamal, Gavi, Pedri, and Pau Cubarsí, this victory would give them faith that their boyhood club is finally going in the right direction. This would also be a huge win for the fans of this historic club, who have been through some of the most traumatic experiences of all football fans around the world in the past few years. Overall, Barcelona's players and fanbase would benefit the most from a Champions League victory, but a certain Italian side might prevent that from happening. Inter Milan have been one of the strongest sides in the Champions League this season, and a victory would be a great way to cap it off. Out of the 4 teams left in the competition, Inter are the most recent finalists, as they lost to Manchester City in 2023. On the other hand, it's been 15 years since their last successful campaign, so the Italian side will be looking to end that drought as well. This is one of the rare instances where a Champions League win would mean more to a country rather than the club itself. Ever since the early 2000s, when AC Milan were a powerhouse in European football and Inter's win in 2010, Italian football has not had the best reputation in the Champions League. There have been just 3 finals in the past 15 years that have featured an Italian side, and they have failed to capture that elusive trophy on every occasion. The Serie A often gets a bad reputation for being one of the less entertaining of the top 5 leagues, with many of their star players opting to leave for other leagues in Europe. But if Inter Milan managed to win it all this season, it would finally put Italian football back on the map as the best in the continent. From a player perspective, Lautaro Martinez would essentially complete football by winning this trophy, as it would go alongside his Copa America and World Cup victories as well. And for the homegrown talent like Alessandro Bastoni, Nicolo Barella, and Federico Di Marco, a potential victory would be great for the continuous development development of Italian football. Overall, a victory for Inter Milan in this season's Champions League would be great for both the club and its players, but also for Italian football as a whole. The 4 teams who remain in the Champions League all have their own hopes and dreams of winning this historic competition, but who has the best chance of going all the way? And what makes the Champions League so exciting is that at this point, no one really knows. You can look at Arsenal and say that their squad doesn't have enough Champions League experience, but they just humiliated Real Madrid in a way that no one would have expected. You can look at PSG and say that they are masters at bottling the Champions League, but their resurgence since the league phase is truly impressive. You can look at Barcelona and say that their run to the semi-finals has been far too easy, but their attacking trio is the best in the entire sport at the moment. And you can look at Inter Milan and say that their defensive style of play won't carry them to the final, but they've only conceded 5 goals while scoring 19 in 14 matches. There is no such thing as a perfect team in football, but these 4 sides are making a strong case that they deserve that title. With only 4 matches left until the final, it truly is anyone's game, but whoever wins this Champions League title will be changing their history forever. But what do you think of the 4 teams that are left in the Champions League? Who do you think has the best chance of going all the way, and who will you be cheering for? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more football content, tier lists, and everything in between, and as always, I'll catch you next time.